Russia has mounted another attack on the country a day after 51 people were killed in the city of Poltava. Officials in the western city of Lviv say at least 7 people, including a teenage girl, were killed. Explosions were also heard over the capital Kyiv as air defences tried to down Russian missiles. Now, these are some of the pictures we had from Lviv during the early hours where, as I said, officials say 7 people were killed and at least 30 others were injured during the air attacks early on Wednesday. And now it's daylight. These pictures have just come in to us, and you can see there the emergency services are on the streets along with some of that debris and rubble. The city's mayor said more than 50 buildings had been damaged. Now, the Ukrainian military said the whole country had been placed under an air alert. Meanwhile, rescue workers are continuing to search the rubble of a military institute in Poltava for survivors of Tuesday's attack there. President Zelensky has insisted that what he called Russian scum would be held accountable for the deaths. Well, our Europe correspondent Nick Beek is in Poltava and updated us on what we know about the latest Russian attacks.
It's the city of Lviv where the most damage has been done. Just to remind ourselves, this is right in the west of Ukraine, only about 40 miles from the Polish border, so right on the edge of the European Union, right on the edge of the NATO military alliance. But clearly that has not deterred Russia in these strikes. And what we've been hearing is that at least 7 people have been killed, including 3 children, a 14-year-old girl, a 9-year-old girl, and another child. And there is video circulating this morning that shows the moment of impact when there was a very large explosion and then lots of debris raining down into what was clearly a neighborhood. It was people's homes being affected. So this is the latest overnight. The city of Lviv has been the worst hit.
Meanwhile, where you are, rescue workers still searching through the rubble.
Absolutely, and you can see behind us, this is a tent that's been set up by volunteers and others. They're giving water, coffee, other food to the firefighters, emergency services who have been working through the night. This was a dreadful strike yesterday. It was the worst single attack on any Ukrainian town and city this year. And I think what's hit people so hard here is the fact that the sheer number of dead, but also the location of the attack. It was a military academy. It was a place where they were training their brightest and best people who would be, in the coming weeks and months, they would have been funneled into the ongoing collective effort to defend the country from Russian aggression. So really it has hit a lot of people hard.
Yes, you've been talking to some of them, Nick. Just relay what they've been saying to you.
Well, last night we spoke to one cadet who only started lessons here about 2 weeks ago. And he was saying that it was about this time yesterday morning, the lessons had just started at the academy, and the 2 ballistic missiles came in very short succession. He said a lot of people were outside, and so people simply didn't stand a chance. They didn't have any sort of opportunity to take shelter, to go somewhere safe. We spoke to one woman, she's actually a neighbour in this block here. She said her window was completely smashed by what happened, and she said this hit her personally because her husband's away on the front line in the Donbass fighting, and the fact this was a military training academy is something she says has affected not just people there but also this wider community. And also we heard from the First Lady of Ukraine yesterday, as well as President Zelensky himself, and she was saying that this was a really shocking tragedy for the whole of her country.
Yeah, you mentioned President Zelensky. He's called them Russian scum and they would be held accountable for the deaths. That's going to be hard, though, isn't it?
Well, certainly President Zelensky says an investigation is underway, and as you say, Val, there will be some sort of retribution. Hard to see what that may be. Certainly at the same time, President Zelensky has said if you look at what's happened here, he's imploring yet again his NATO allies, America, the UK, other countries in Europe as well, to do a lot more to protect Ukraine. He says, crucially, if they're given permission to use foreign-made long-range missiles to hit targets further into Russia, it will stop these sort of strikes, or certainly give a much more better level of protection, because the Russians won't be able to launch them in the first place. So far, President Zelensky has not got what he wanted, but says this, and as well as other strikes we've seen over the past 2.5 years, provide ample information to his allies that really a lot more needs to be done.
While posting on Telegram, the mayor of Lviv has been speaking about the attacks there.
As of 8 o'clock in the morning, more than 35 people are receiving medical assistance. Several of them are in serious condition, including 5 children. We lost 3 people, including a medical worker. A lot of damage, more than 50 buildings. A large part is in the heart of our city, historical heritage.
That's the mayor of Lviv.